When you think of Italian food, you often think of pasta, which is my favorite food of all time. But today I'm going to show you some of my favorite Italian dishes that aren't pasta. On the menu today, how about a chicken pizzaiola? Your new favorite cheesy bread, spiadino romano. And my all-time favorite dessert, tiramisu. It's gonna be delicioso.
Life can be a struggle, but a good meal doesn't have to be. We can make creative, nutritious, and inventive dishes that won't break the bank. We'll eat well and save money, because that's what we do. Welcome to Struggle Meals.
We're gonna make a Southern Italian dish called chicken pizzaiola. It means in the style of pizza. I like pizza, you like pizza. That means delicious tomato sauce, melty cheese, and tons of flavor. This dish has been adapted over time. There is no one way to do it. So I'm gonna show you my Struggle Meals version right now. We're gonna start off with boneless, skinless chicken breasts. They don't have a ton of flavor, but they're gonna have a ton of flavor when I'm done with them after we give them the pizzaiola treatment. So I'm just gonna put my hand on top and I'm gonna sort of cut the chicken in half, give me 2 halves right here, as if you were sort of like making a chicken cutlet. By cutting these chicken breasts into smaller pieces, it's gonna take less time for them to cook. It's also gonna give me 4 portions instead of 2. I'm gonna go wash my hands now. All right, I'm salting the chicken breasts and some pepper. We're gonna hit it with a little bit of garlic powder as well. You know, by cutting the chicken breasts in half, we also doubled the surface area, which gives us more opportunity to add flavor. I've seasoned up my chicken breasts and now we're gonna create a little flour dredge. We're not gonna go eggs and breadcrumbs and all that. No, we're just gonna do flour. I'm gonna season the flour with salt and the garlic powder also. It's really important that we season all the layers because it's just not gonna taste great otherwise. I'm gonna put the heat on. Coming into the pan with some butter. All right, a little oil of olive as well. I'm gonna cook the chicken in batches so that the pan isn't overcrowded and get nice and brown. When you salt chicken, it draws the moisture out, but it's really important that that moisture isn't in the chicken when it hits this pan, because 2 things will happen. 1, tons of splattering, and 2, steam, which does not equal crispiness. That's why we're using the flour to dry out the chicken. I'm going into the pan and I'm placing it away from me. So basically what I'm looking for right now is the perfect amount of brownness on the chicken, because when we get to the stage where we add the pizza sauce, that's what's actually gonna cook the chicken all the way through. That's called braising, and that's what makes this dish so delicious. So I think my chicken's brown. Let's take a peek. Chicken's looking absolutely fantastic. We got that nice brown sear on there. Chicken's coming off. I'm gonna rest these pieces right here on the plate. Now we can build our sauce. We're gonna deglaze the pan with some white wine, just a little bit. Be careful here, there will be splattering. We put liquid into the pan and all the bits stuck on the pan are now incorporated into a liquid that will become our sauce. And you also get this nuanced acidic undertone, which sounds fancy, but really it just means more flavor. Let's add our tomato puree. I'm combining all that butter and olive oil and chicken bits with the white wine and the tomato. And this is what we're gonna cook our chicken in. I like a really simple and flavorful pizza sauce, but for me that means adding fresh basil. So let's head over to the herb garden. You know, I bought this plant and it just keeps growing, giving me free food. Aromatic, fresh, and green. I'm gonna cook the basil in my pizza sauce here. Some would say a pizza sauce ain't a pizza sauce without oregano. And we can get even more free flavor from the packet drawer in the form of red pepper flakes. Mamma mia. Spicy pizza sauce. Hit it with a little bit of salt. We got our chicken coming into the sauce now. This is sort of like cooking pasta. If you cook pasta in not flavorful liquid, it's not gonna be flavorful. We're gonna let it simmer. The chicken is gonna absorb all those delicious flavors and cook through. So while that's happening, I'm gonna slice the mozzarella. We've got the mozzarella here, and melty cheese is so important if you're doing anything in the style of pizza. All right, we're gonna just put like 2 pieces maybe on each piece of chicken. So that's pretty great right there. Now, let's cover this so the cheese melts even faster. A perfectly fitting hat. That looks fantastic. See, this is why we want to use fresh sliced mozzarella, because it's gonna melt in a beauteous manner rather than shredded stuff, which just wouldn't look as elegant as this. Let's plate it up. Let's grab some sauce, chicken, a pizzaiola. I'm gonna put some more basil on top so that we know that delicious and elegant flavor is in this dish. And now it looks like the Italian flag. This looks so fantastic. It smells delicious. It's only $2.80 a serving. So what do you say we dig in? Ooh, very nice. In short, this tastes like pizza. A spicy, garlicky tomato sauce, flavorful chicken, and melty cheese over top. What more could you possibly want? This is a great dish to add to your Italian rotation. I hope you make this because I know you'll love it. Olive oil is the lifeblood of Italian cuisine, and it's the ingredient I use most. As a pricier kitchen staple, it's important that you know your options when you're out shopping for olio di olive. You can put olive oil into two basic categories, extra virgin and everything else. Extra virgin is the highest quality olive oil available, and naturally, it's the most expensive. You're gonna wanna save this for dipping bread, making dressings, and using it as a finishing oil. It's unfiltered, which means it can look cloudy. But don't be fooled, those impurities equal more flavor. In a pinch, you can use extra virgin for a quick saute, but honestly, it's not the best under heat. Those impurities that give it flavor will also burn. The second category, everything else, is a more filtered oil, and it's less expensive. Perfect for sauteing and infusing flavors, but as a finishing oil, they just don't taste as good as extra virgin. For any kind of olive oil, you should store it in a dark bottle away from sunlight and heat. Not all olive oils are created equal, but with these tips, I'm convinced you'll be successful when you're choosing your next bottle of oil. Stay tuned because I've got a fantastic ooey gooey bread coming up right after this. Here's a dish you're definitely less familiar with, but I know you're gonna love. It's called spiadino romano, which literally means the Roman skewered dish. It's got all the elements set up for flavor success. Toasty, garlicky bread, melty cheese, and a buttery sauce over top. Let's make it. We're using an Italian loaf. I'm gonna slice it up. I'm doing nice thick slices of bread here. Eventually, these pieces of bread are gonna be married to cheese. If we don't toast the bread, it's either gonna be soggy. We'll lay this bread out into the oven. While that bread toasts, we're gonna slice our cheese. The mozzarella. All right, this cheese can be pretty tough to slice. All right, it sure smells like the bread is toasted. That's what we're looking for, some crispiness. Now we've got a rough surface, and that means we can rub raw garlic all over it. Perfection. We'll go bread, cheese, bread, cheese, bread, cheese. All right, this is a skewer, and we're gonna do two. So we'll go one off to the side. Boom, boom. This is the best cheesy toast. Now these go in the oven so the cheese melts and we get a deep dark color. Ta-da! We're gonna make a delicious, flavorful sauce that we're gonna pour over top of this bread, and it is gonna make it spectacular. We're gonna start with a shallot. I tried to do a pretty fine dice on the shallot. Reason being, we're gonna add some capers in there, and I like to have the size of things to be similar. All right, we're putting some butter into a nice pan. While that butter melts, we're gonna come in with some anchovies. Now, anchovies are the secret ingredient in the Italian grandma kitchen. We're just gonna let them melt right into the butter, and they're gonna give us saltiness and umami. And if you get the quantity right, no one will even know that they're there. So I just like to take the end of a wooden spoon and literally just kind of like jackhammer right into it. I mean, these have been on the heat for 30 seconds and they're falling apart already. Let's add our shallots into this flavorful butter. To cut through all the richness, a little white wine, the acidity of that will do quite well. Bring this up to a simmer, burn off that alcohol. All right, we're gonna hit it with some chicken stock, more salt, more flavor. So while we wait for this to come up to a simmer, let's head over to the herb garden so that we can finish off this sauce with some bright, fresh vitality. I like parsley, and I love basil for its floral awesomeness. Yum. Got these herbs here. We'll go with the parsley right into our little basil boat. more basil, parsley, and then you literally roll up the little cigar and you come in and you chop that up. Let's finish this sauce. We take little bits of cold butter and swirl them in. It's gonna help emulsify the whole sauce. Once you see one piece of butter melting, you can come in with the next one. All right, you see how thick that's getting? So now that the butter's all melted into the sauce, let's add our fresh herbs in there. Capers are salt, little buds of flavor. All right, we'll mix that around. We have arrived, or as the Romans would say, siamo arrivati. Today just got even better. Let's assemble. It smells fantastic. Here's how you serve it. You come in with your sauce. You're gonna pour it right over top. The bread's gonna absorb all the butter, the caper, the wine. It's $2.14 a serving. I can't wait to dig in. You hear that crunch? This is delicious. I mean, the first thing you taste is the spice of that raw garlic that's rubbed all over the bread, and it's softened by the melted cheese. But it's nothing until we get to the sauce. That butter sauce is all absorbed into the bread, and yet the bread is still crunchy. It's sorcery. This is an impressive looking dish, and it's jam-packed with flavor, meaning everyone will love it. Make it. Coming up next, a challenge, and then my favorite Italian dessert, so don't go anywhere. It's time for a struggle challenge. Let's see what you got for me today. Hey, Frankie! I somehow ended up with a whole bunch of ricotta cheese. Lucky you. I'd love your thoughts on how to use it up. Thanks in advance. P.S. Tell Piggy I love him. You hear that, Piggy? She loves you. All right, let's look in the fridge and see what you got. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Exactly as I predicted. A lot of ricotta. It's creamy, it's delicious, and I love putting it in pasta sauces. I think I've got an idea on what I can do. Let's head over to the other fridge and see what other ingredients we've got. I got some eggs, I got some cheese, I got some butter, spinach. So I got some spinach. We're gonna chop it up, we're gonna combine it with this ricotta. But you know what? I don't wanna make pasta, because that takes a long time. There's this dish called nudi, which literally means like nakeds, implying, because it is, that it's the filling of a ravioli without the pasta around it. We really just need cheese and eggs to keep the filling together. Let's get started. We got some spinach here. We don't need much. All right, I want to squeeze as much liquid out of this spinach as I can. Let's chop up this spinach, our naked ravioli. And don't worry, this is safe for work. Spinach into our bowl. Throw that ricotta in with the spinach. Egg is our binder. So let's get that in there. Mixing egg with ricotta and spinach here, okay? I also think we probably need 2 eggs. Egg is like glue when it hits heat. Grate some cheese in here. And when I say some, I mean a lot. Mixing the cheese in. So I'm gonna keep going until this doesn't look so wet. So this is a good recipe to make if you've got a lot of ricotta cheese and you have a lot of Parmesan cheese also. This is looking good. I'm gonna kind of dry my hands out a little bit, and I'm gonna try to make a ball here. Go right in the flour to sort of create a skin on the outside. That's a nudi. I could literally be making ricotta gnocchi right now, which hold together so much better. Something like that. Our nudi are ready. These are gonna go great with a brown butter sage sauce. Let me show you how to make that. Brown butter's delicious, but I feel like it's made even better with sage. Our water's also boiling, so let's prep that with some salt. The butter's melting. It's getting all foamy. So I'll throw some sage in here just to infuse the flavor, and I'm keeping my eye looking for that brownness. All right, you see some brown happening here on the edges? So at this point, I wanna stop it. So I'm lowering the heat pretty significantly, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of pasta water in here to lower the temperature and stop that butter from browning. Gorgeous. Here we are, into the water. I mean, it's holding its shape. Is it holding its shape? It's holding its shape. I'm pretty excited about it, so I'm gonna go in with the others. Oh, these are disintegrating. Oh, that one disintegrated. This is very bad. This is a catastrophe. Okay, I can fix this. I'm just gonna take some flour and I'm gonna put it in a bowl like this here. And then my remaining cheese in with the flour. I'm making such a mess. We're just gonna knead it right now. This is part of cooking. I mean, often things don't work and you gotta pivot. The struggle challenge is real. I'm very pleased with this balls. My nudie are turning into gnocchi. I think I'll make it work. And I'm really hoping that I can make something out of this. And these are just holding their shape so much better. And yet they still feel soft and subtle. Let's just throw a couple of these like this and lower them down. All right. Let's see what happens here. That's how they should be. All right, look, these are strong. Let's plate it up before we ruin what is right now perfection. We'll just hit it with a little cheese. Boom, boom, boom. This was about to become a total disaster. You saw those original nudie. They were flat. They weren't looking so great, but we recovered really well. But I do feel like I got to dock some points for not doing it right the first time. So I'm going to give it an 8.5 on looks. I'm going to go for this one right here. It's cheesy, it's salty, and texturally, it's definitely more gnocchi than nudie. They don't taste so airy, light, and fluffy. However, they're not dense, and they are delicious. So it's an 8 on flavor. 8 plus 8.5 is 16.5. That is an 83%. That is a B-, and those are the kinds of grades I strive for in improvisational cooking. Thank you for this challenge. It was definitely tough. I was in the weeds there for a second, but we live to see another day. Up next, my favorite Italian dessert. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna make one of my all-time favorite Italian desserts. Say it with me, tiramisu! It is the perfect combination of cookies and cheese and coffee. And best of all, there's no ovens or heat involved, which makes me very happy because I'm not much of a baker. Let me show you how to make it, okay? So we're gonna start off with some eggs. It's important when you're separating these eggs, you get no yolk in the whites, because yolk in whites will ruin the whites. This recipe uses raw eggs, but if you want to be extra cautious, you can get pasteurized eggs. So I'm gonna break up these yolks with a whisk. White sugar into our egg yolks. You can see after just a minute or so, these have become pale, which is nice. A lot of tiramisus have liqueurs in them. To save some money, we're using vanilla extract. This is mascarpone. It is the thing that makes this dish creamy and delicious. Beautiful. This is all combined. Now it's time to work on the whites. The struggle mixer, 8,500. Here it is. If you've got a hand mixer, now's the time to use it. Look at that stiff peak. The egg whites are infused with a whole bunch of air. You can see the volume has increased. If I mixed a bunch of vanilla and sugar into these whites, they would be very dense. Dense is not good. So you'll take, call it a third of your mixture, and you don't want to stir it because you want to keep the air into the whites. What you want to do is sort of come up from underneath and just try to incorporate without really ever pushing down until you get to like just homogeneous color. The longer you spend on this, the worse it will be. So be gentle and purposeful and make it happen as quickly as you can. That's pretty much it right there. I've got some strong black coffee right here. And this brings us to the name tiramisu, which translates to pick me up. Why? Caffeine. So we're gonna take our coffee. We have lady fingers here. They're little Italian biscuits. They're very soft and airy, and they're gonna be perfect at soaking up our strong coffee. Listen, they disintegrate real quick. So I've got the drop and flip method, and you literally just go boop, like that, drop, flip, and lift. Any more than that, and it won't hold any shape. We're just dipping them in the coffee. They shouldn't be in here for more than 2 seconds. We come in with our egg mixture. I kind of go plop, plop, and you can start to spread it around. Remember, we're still trying to maintain aeration in the egg, so like just a light spreading. Next layer. Literally, I like to set a timer and see how fast I can do it. Boom, 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 huh. All right, another layer. Layer 3. Gonna hit it on top. I've got some chocolate, and I'm just gonna start making it happen. And you could use like cocoa powder if you had that. It certainly makes the whole thing look beautiful. So this is gonna go into the fridge, a couple hours, overnight, 2 days. Honestly, it only gets better with time. To the fridge, to cure. The tiramisu is all set up. All right, we're gonna come in like this. Da-da-da. Woo-hoo-hoo. There's caffeine, there's sugar, there's the creamiest cheese in the whole world inside, and it's all topped with chocolate. Pick me up! At only $2.15 a serving, I'm already excited before I bite into this. All right, let's dig in. It cuts through it like a warm knife in cold butter. Oh my goodness. Yes. Fantastic. It's sweet and creamy. You've got the nice coffee kind of cutting through all the richness. And the lady fingers and egg whites are light as could be. I mean, this thing just melts in your mouth in like a cakey kind of way. So good. If you're making an Italian dinner, this is the dessert you should finish it off with. It's easy, it's delicious. Today we learned Italian food is more than just pasta, with some of my favorite dishes. Every single bite was delicious. You don't have to be Italian to cook great Italian food. You can only try your best. Welcome to Frankie's Corner, where I attempt to solve your culinary quandaries. Is Alfredo actually an Italian dish? Fettuccine Alfredo is an Italian dish. It came from a Roman restaurant called, you guessed it, Alfredo's, and it was just Parmesan and butter. Super simple. It was the Americans that added cream and chicken and shrimp and all these things to it, and it's evolved into something that isn't the original anymore.